Dolton. And then next after that, we got migrants controlling Central Park over there in New York. But the Dolton police struggle is real. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's spend 10 minutes on this for real, y'all.
Dolton trustees tell ABC7 they'll move to fire Deputy Chief Louis Lacey at the next village board meeting after they say he violated the terms of his administrative leave. But that's not stopping Lacey and Dolton's mayor from asserting his authority. In this video obtained by ABC7, Lacey and Mayor Tiffany Henyard are heard telling officers who's in charge.
Now, from this point on, do what you want. But anything after this is insubordination.
This the same day the 61-year-old deputy chief appeared in federal court, pleading not guilty to bankruptcy fraud and perjury charges. A judge ordering Lacey to hand over his firearms and FOID card.
He is the acting chief in the village of Dolton. He is a police officer, and he does need his firearm in case something happens on the street and that puts him in danger.
Last week, the Dolton Village Board voted to place Lacey on administrative leave, but that hasn't stopped him from showing up to work. And now trustees say they'll move to fire him at the next board meeting. Last week, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot released findings of an investigation showing the village millions of dollars in the red after having millions in surplus when Henyard took office. Now, Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza is suspending some payments to the village, blaming Henyard's failure to submit 2 years' worth of financial reports. In a statement, Dolton trustees say they'll demand that the village's finance department submit all required paperwork to the state. Mayor Henyard has repeatedly declined ABC7's request for comment.
Watch. Let me pivot for a second, and I want to look at this other video right before. Give me a second.
We are following some breaking news out of suburban Dolton.
And this comes just days after the trustees terminated the deputy police chief. Now the mayor of the village, Tiffany Henyard, has appointed him to a new position. NBC5's Regina Waldrop has reaction on today's announcement.
Good evening. An illegal appointment. That's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their next steps. Now, it was last Monday that Deputy Dolton Police Chief Louis Lacey was put on administrative leave by the Dolton Village Board. Trustees say he returned to work the next day and was later fired for insubordination. Then today, trustees say they got word that Mayor Tiffany Henyard has now appointed Lacey as police chief without trustees voting on this appointment, and they say Lacey has also not been sworn in to the position. Now, Lacey was in court a short time ago. He was arraigned on federal bankruptcy fraud charges. It's alleged that he lied under oath in a scheme to hide assets and income from creditors to avoid paying more than $40,000 in a lawsuit settlement.
Well, Mr. Lacey is absolutely...
Listen, the first way that you can get yourself in trouble is that if you start to file for bankruptcy, right? And a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of people are really... Listen, it's different types of bankruptcies, and I'm not sure exactly what they are. I know it's Chapter 7 and it's another one, right? But the first thing about bankruptcy is that if people are filing for bankruptcy, a lot of times you also have to understand that you have to be under a certain threshold in order to completely discharge your debt. And then if you over another threshold, then they give you a repayment plan based off of your income, right? On top of that, you have to honestly declare, and this is one of the things that Jay Morrison ran into as a problem. Jay Morrison is the dude that had wound up creating a trust fund. They said that he had filed for bankruptcy, and then they said that he lied on his bankruptcy application for a bunch of other stuff in order to discharge his debt. Now, I'm not against people filing for bankruptcy. It depends on your circumstances. Everybody got different circumstances. Whatever it is that makes it work, floats your boat. But if you get a personal lawsuit and you're trying to make sure that you remove yourself from that personal lawsuit by then filing for bankruptcy and thinking that that's just going to be the end of the story, they will go through and deep dive into your finances to figure out whether or not you are actually being honest about what it is that's going on. And so if you are out here frauding, that is something that they are going to take serious. Do not play no games. They throwing football numbers at people for wire fraud, false bankruptcy, all of that stuff. They have lied to y'all and told y'all that, oh man, white collar crimes don't use. Okay. Now the problem with this, because the other question that we have to ask ourselves is this them going after him in order to get to Tiffany Henyard because he's just a smaller player? in a bigger pond. You see what I'm saying? Now, it doesn't absolve him from actually being honest about what it is that he's doing. But if you have skeletons in your closet, and let this be another lesson for y'all. If you have skeletons in your closet, you cannot stand next to somebody that has a spotlight on them. If you have skeletons in your closet, you cannot stand 10 toes down with somebody that has a spotlight on them. It is going to burn you. You need to run immediately. And I know it may seem like a hard decision to make. And a loyalty, listen, they should not have had the spotlight on them in the first place. You shouldn't have been out here frauding. You shouldn't have been getting yourself caught up in a whole bunch of other stuff. Do not put yourself in a position to have to be overly scrutinized by something that should not even involve you in the first place. You know you ain't even supposed to be out in the spotlight. And so you out here running around with them talking about this is my loyalty and all. Look, stand down. Stand down. You know this woman got everybody around her. It's been people sending me so much information on this woman that I neglected to use and I neglected to bring to the forefront. And I know she be watching. So shout out to her and shout out to her people. I don't even go at her as hard as other people. I don't go at it at all like that, to be honest with you. I kind of just stay out of the way and focus on what it is that's presented. But in a general sense, people have sent me stuff, so much information about the insides of this and her family and this person. And I won't even present it. I never said nothing. I only keep it 100% on her because other people I had heard had been like, man, I can't even believe I'm close to this chick. I don't want to be associated with it. I can't believe I talked to her when we was 13 and all of this other stuff. And people don't want to be, they didn't know that she was going to be out here running around talking about I'm the people's mayor and on social media while she got a federal investigation that's investigating her and they trying to get her up out of there. And so even me personally, I said, man, I'm not about to be putting no other people in this because this ain't got nothing to do with them. But when you stand next to or close to a person that refuse, they just want to be Frank Lucas and they wearing the chinchilla at the fight. Okay, well, everybody going down. Everybody going down.
Not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit your guilt first.
And happening here tonight in South Holland, a special meeting called by the Thornton Township Board of Trustees. They have a number of items on the agenda looking to curtail spending that they say is being done by Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who is also township supervisor. We should also mention that the township is now into its new fiscal year and still without a budget. Reporting from South Holland, I'm Regina Waldrop, NBC 5 News.
Regina, thank you very much. And there are more money troubles tonight for the village of Dolton. Illinois Comptroller Susanna Mendoza has stopped what are called offset fund payments in the south suburb. She says Mayor Tiffany Henyard's administration has not submitted required financial reports to her office. As a result, payments from those who owe traffic fines and parking tickets and other municipal dollars have been halted. A recent investigation found Dolton is more than $3.5 million in debt.
That's unfortunate. It's crazy to think that this woman is basically bringing down and tearing down everything, including the city, the police chief, bodyguards, anybody that was associated with her is full game. I would not want to be attached to this woman to save my life at all. And so now the trustees or whatever, they basically said that he was fired and he was removed. And then they're saying that she reappointed the police chief. And I'm assuming that she probably did it. And this is just an assumption. I'm assuming that she probably did it because she owes some level of loyalty to him because of the amount of heat that's coming on him as a result of this now fraud that came along with this bankruptcy that he filed. Everything and everybody around this woman is absolutely going down. I wouldn't want to be associated with her. I don't know how y'all was being associated with her. And I'm also questioning the people that supported her before she became mayor of Dolton in the first place, which then starts to put some of the blame and some of the spotlight on the trustees that's acting like they don't know what's going on and they didn't know who she was in the first place. But that's just me. That's neither here nor there. I told y'all we was only going to spend 10 minutes on her because I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time.